Hey, yo, I'm back again. Today is Saturday, February the 8th, 2020. Got a nice and peaceful, quiet house today. The kid is by his grandmother. Um, the girlfriend is gone. I love this time, man. It's getting to the point where I'm not getting this. My work schedule has changed, so I'm home every day now in the evening, and I can't get no peace and quiet, man. This little 2-year-old is just runs me, but I enjoy it. It's the most greatest time of my life. I enjoy it every day, every evening when I get off and come home and spend time with my son. Is It's the best feeling in the world. You could have anything else. It's the best feeling for me. Oh man. February the 8th. February the 7th, 2014, I lost my grandmother. So that's like every time around this year, I start thinking about her. And, I wish I could have spent more time with her, but I cherish the time that we had. She died, she was 97 years old. And she died February the 7th. I remember they called me and said she was gone. I had saw her for Thanksgiving of the year before, 2013, and I left a day before I was supposed to leave, and she was, she was in her 90s at the time, still going strong, but I could see where, it was almost over. So that's why I tell everybody I'm going to live to 97, but I'm going to die running in the park. They're going to come get me. So, Grandma Lily, it was a blast. But we move on. Chapter 2 of the book. Some people looking at this and like, oh, he must not like mulatto. No, I'm reporting history, man. Now, if you have a problem with that, then show me some alternate facts. But it's not about liking anybody or disliking anybody. It's about showing the history. So I'm going to keep on doing what I do. Chapter 2 is called Strange Confederates. So during the Civil War, you had this group of free people of color, so-called mulattoes, so-called sons and grandsons of human traffickers, or what you guys call slave owners, and enslaved African descendants, or what you guys call slaves. Most of this stuff wasn't consensual. I don't know if there's any books, but maybe I should write the book about these relationships, the relationships, the African female and these human traffickers, man. I guess I guess people don't like to really think about it, but the sexual exploitation is like, even with the pedophilia that's going on today, like I really believe that it stems from that. Even the teenage pregnancies in the black community and all, man, still going on today. But you had these unions and you had these freemen, they were called, who were free before quote unquote emancipation, before President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. And these people, they didn't know who to align with. They were their own group. And so at first, they said that they were going to align with the South. They were very patriotic. They said, this is our land. This is our, the writer says it best. During the sectional crisis, one of the best ways to dispel suspicions about one's racial otherness was to openly and loudly support the Confederate cause. Charleston's biracial elite, under tremendous pressure from their white neighbors and relatives, reacted similarly. Just 3 weeks after South Carolina's secession ordinance was issued, several dozen prominent freemen of color signed a letter alerting the mayor of Charleston and governor of South Carolina that they too back secession. Okay, so these a lot of these people fought for the Confederate, because they knew, or maybe they had a premonition that if the enslaved Africans were free, then they would all be considered as one group. And they fought that to this day. They fought that to this day. They fought for integration so they could be a part of the white, so-called quote unquote white culture, the white, and we'll see. In New Orleans, when Louisiana first waged secession following Lincoln's election, Creoles of color similarly made clear where they stood. In a public statement, the free colored population native of Louisiana explained that they love their home, their property, they own slaves, and they are dearly attached to their native land. And they recognize no other country than Louisiana and care for no other than Louisiana. And they are ready to shed their blood for her defense. So these are the people. These are the people that descendants came and said, "Hey, we want to integrate. We want to." And not that I'm saying integration is wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is the reason behind the push. Even to this day, this is why in February we hear more about Martin Luther King than we hear about Malcolm X. This is the reason why we hear more about John Lewis than we hear about Huey Newton. Because these people wanted to be who they felt superior. And many of them, it was their relatives. They took to that side of the family. So don't come and tell me when you talk about people like a Thurgood Marshall or Dutch Moriel that these people were for the black people. They did so much for black. They weren't interested in the freedmen at all. They were interested in advancing their cause. And if the freedmen could be used, just like they do today, if you could be used to advance their cause, then yes, okay, we're allies. Till I don't need you no more, and then you get out my face. But look how they were treated. Early in the war, when white Union POWs were unloaded on the New Orleans docks for imprisonment, the Native Guards, the Native Guards was a group of these mixed race mulattoes, were barred from standing watch over them on racial grounds. So they still were seen as as inferior. They still were seen, even though they pledged and said, we're going to be a part, we want to be a part. We're going to help you fight the Union. They're coming in here changing our lifestyle. And we got a good thing going here. We're free. We own property. We own slaves. Also in the book, I think it's in another chapter, they describe how many of the freedmen said that these people were the worst slave owners. It's like that black cop. He's got to prove that he's harder than a white cop. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. So after all this, when Lincoln finally freed the Emancipation Proclamation, and then now these people said, "Oh wow, we're all black." And then there was a Dred Scott decision in 1858 that said no white man has any cause to respect the rights of any black man. So now all of these people were grouped into black. So now it was saying, this is where the talented tent came from. The talented tent said, okay, we're black, but we're the leaders of the black. So we're black, but we're a little better than them. And so we have today. I watched the State of the Union the other day, and Kamala Harris, she's not even black, but anyway, they're sitting up there, like they're the leader, they represent us. How you represent us? You're not even of us. While those who had been born free before the war had long been understood on the streets of New Orleans as a biracial middle class, to the rest of America, they were simply black people. the The Crescent City's Creoles of color, with all their admirable qualities, have not yet forgotten that they were themselves slave owners, and they remain hostile to the black, except as slaves. William Lloyd Garrison wrote that. The demise of slavery necessitated an alliance, perhaps even a merger, between the two communities, despite their disparate history and experience. And the freemen were fine, and the recently liberated slaves amassed to uphold them. Not be equal to you, to them. You are the mass to uphold them. So that's why they get so mad when you don't want to go along with every little crazy thing they have. Like, they get so mad because you're the mass. You're just supposed to be silent and be the sheep and follow. You're not supposed to think on your own. It's why they hate us when we read. It's why if I was here dancing and rapping, I would have all kind of views. I would have all kind of people watching me. Hey, he's so great. But get a book in your hand, you become dangerous. Because now you can see when people lie. They get real quiet. Nobody don't want to talk to you no more. Nobody don't know nothing. Tell you, I've done it to the church folks. I've done it to the so-called educated folks. Yeah, I do it to anybody. You use your brain, you read, you find out what's going on. And then nobody can fool you. And then what they'll usually do, they'll just ignore you because they don't want you to infect anybody else that's, infected with, their nonsense. But I'm telling anybody listen to me, do not listen to me. If I'm lying, go and prove me wrong. Research it, ask questions, prove me wrong. See, a narcissist and a totalitarian would never tell you that. They will always tell you, well, just listen to me. Or you don't have the revelation. You haven't lived it. They say, yeah, you don't have the revelation. I used to go by the Nation of Islam. I didn't pass, but they were used to the guy would talk. I said, well, can I get a copy? Let me read the book. Oh, no, you got to come because I got to explain it to you. If I can't learn on my own and I need you, that means you're a mediator. I need you, and I don't want to even be a part of it. If I have to have you to give me, because therefore I become your slave. If I have to have you to mediate, to show me how to live life, if not, it's ridiculous. But hey, one white northern woman who came to Charleston with the Abolition American Missionary Association noticed that many of the brown people here think they're a great deal better than those who were slaves. And whenever you meet them, they were sure to tell you that they were free. Remind me of somebody that I know that always tell you how much they own their house. I'm hitting shots. Wow, come holler at me. This certain person, I ain't gonna say their name because I like to tell them to their face, but they'll never come around me because they're too scared. But anyway, the savviest amongst Charleston's Browns understood immediately that they stood to become the biggest losers of the Civil War if Confederate defeat left an unequal society based on the white and black binary. See, they didn't want it. They didn't want a free and just society because now you guys are all black. And now we don't have slaves, so you're no longer that buffer. So we have to create another buffer. And now it's called poverty. They're the buffer in between poverty and wealth. And they say, oh, okay, well, we're going to pacify you guys, but we're never going to give you an opportunity to become wealthy because we need the mass to uphold us. Okay, I'm not finished with chapter 2, but I'm finished for today. Peace.